ABC News, San Francisco.
Now let's talk about oil, because crude prices have been on a downward trend over the past few weeks, with Donald Trump urging the world's biggest producers to raise their production levels to lower oil prices. Just a few hours ago, Goldman Sachs released its oil forecast for the year, and it predicts Brent crude prices will remain steady at around $63 per barrel. Joining me now is Cornelia Meyer, CEO of Meyer Resources. Cornelia, interesting figure there from Goldman Sachs. I mean, bearing in mind that it was around $80 on average for 2024, people will be wondering, why is it so low? Why is the prediction so low?
Well, actually, UBS did one better. They went from 80 to $68. So yeah, yes, what happened is with the tariffs, you have the fear of a global recession, and if you have less economic activity, you use less oil. And let's look at that from another point of view. The US is the largest producer of oil, and China is the largest importer of oil, although China only imported about 1% of its crude imports from the US. But it just means you hammer the economy of the largest crude importer. Of course, it will do something to crude prices.
The US Energy Secretary Chris Wright is in Riyadh now, looking at pushing the US's policy forward, keeping prices low. But at some point, Saudi's going to find that the prices are too low when it's so intrinsic to its own economy. How do you suspect Saudi Arabia will react to this?
Well, look, Saudi Arabia has always been very measured. It's sort of the kingpin of the OPEC Plus group. And what OPEC has always tried to do is keep prices steady, go against volatility. And what we've seen with the trade wars now is humongous volatility. It came down from 75 to below 60, and it's now back at 65. And that's not good for producers, because investment will not flow into the sector with that volatility. And it's also very bad for consumers. So it will be interesting to see how Chris Wright talks to OPEC. OPEC has just released an extra 400,000 barrels a day onto the market, or will in May. So let's see where this goes.
And with the price where it is, Donald Trump says, drill, baby, drill. But when it comes to the shale sector in America, you need a high price for that, don't you?
Well, if it's about 65, the Permian will go out. If it's about 55, everything will go out. We are no longer in the heydays of the shale boom, where it was easy to get debt. Interest rates are also much higher, and where sort of capital discipline was sort of thrown out of the window. Now we see bigger, more corporate players who have entered that space, and they look at capital discipline, and the banks will not lend at those rates.
Yeah, Cornelia Meyer, CEO of Meyer Resources. For now, thank you very, very much for joining us. Just want to take you live to the webpage.